military invasion, the ripple effect. You know, that invasion would have been the act or the instance of invading or entering into the enemy's territory, especially by an army. So that is what an invasion would have been. But there are other invasions where person invade an area, more like squatting, and they take over that area. But we're looking at military, more like invasion as an act of war. And we're looking at the ripple effect. So what will happen? The ripple effect refers to like situation in which one event produce effects which spread and produce further effects. So you're dropping a pebble in a container with water. You realize that you'd see some ripple moving. So this is what would happen when we have an invasion, a military invasion that is. And we can throw our mind to instances. The persons who are old can look into history, and the younger person or the younger persons at heart can look at the most recent situations. Right? So again, when invasion takes place, the invader normally take possession or they overrun the government that is in the country or the area. Invasions are not new, and we have, by historical data, we have different era or different ways in which we sort of classify them. So we look at some invasion. We have in 1971, we have an invasion of East Pakistan by India. In 1973, we have invasion of Israel, right, by Egypt and Syria. 74, we have invasion of Cyprus by Turkey. So much of those would have been near the Middle East. And in 75, we have Spanish, that's Morocco, the Spanish Sahara being invaded by Spain. And it goes on. In 76, invasion of Lebanon by Syria. And that would have been near the Middle East, right? And we have Ethiopia in 1977 being invaded by Somalia. And the list goes on. We have in 78 where we have the invasion of the PLO. Those persons who would have been older would have known of the Palestine Liberation Organization. And one of the great leaders would have been Yasser Arafat. Right? And you know, he would have passed on. In 1978 we have the invasion of Tanzania by Uganda. So we come into Africa now. Basically around the same area. In 1979 we have the invasion of Uganda by Tanzania. So we have the reverse. So we have a number of invasions, and coming down we have, like in 1979, one of the invasion, right? But invasion by Saudi Arabia, so they would have invaded Afghanistan. And you know, some nearer down we have 1982, the invasion of Lebanon by Israel. We have also in 82 the invasion of Iraq by Iran. You know, those two neighbors always at war. And coming nearer to home, I don't know how many of us would remember when the United States invaded Grenada in 1983. Think of your age. And then we have also the invasion of Panama by the United States. And we could go on and on. So in 1990, one of the one that most person can remember, when, you know, by the invasion of Kuwait by the Iraqi. 1991 we have the invasion of Saudi Arabia, right? We have the invasion of Iraq by the Western. You have the Americans, you have the British, you have the Saudi, Egypt and Syria. They would have done that invasion. And coming home again we have in Haiti. So we have invasion of Haiti by the Americans in 1994. So the Americans have been invading a few countries, you know, nearing to us. Back again we head to the Middle East, where in 1998 we have the invasion of Ethiopia by Eritrea. Small country there. And we're coming closer to the 2000. right? We have 1998, the invasion of the Democratic Republic of Congo by Uganda, by Rwanda and Burundi, right? And we have in 1998, and that would have capped off, you know, that era before the 2000, the invasion of Kengal, that is in India by Pakistan. So that would have been before 2000. As it relates to after 2000, we have a wide expanse, and some of those will be shown in a clip, right? So you can always see that in the description. Again, I am looking at some current issues, but again, it has started from many centuries ago. Again, it's like a situation that never goes old. Once we have conflicts, then there are going to be invasion, and the country that is more powerful will want to show their power, right? So we have many others, and we have some popular ones. Again, some of us can remember when you have Ukraine being invaded by Russia in 2014. Mark what I said, you know, in 2014 Ukraine was invaded by Russia. I'm not talking about present day. Now that we have an overview of military invasion, we can now look at some of the ripple effect. Remember we say what ripple effect is, and the analogy was given of that stone in the water. So it spread outward. So as a result of military invasion, depending on the area, we may have increase in crude oil. That's the oil that we use to make refined product like petrol and such the like. And again, the prices since the recent invasion, the prices have been going up, right? We have situation where the cost of petrol before, and it's about 2 months or so ago, was like 100 and about 80 Jamaican dollars, equivalent to about $1.22 US, and it moved up to about $1.54 US. So you see that big jump. A loaf of bread normally costs say $2.22 US. Now it's about $2.71. So again, there will be a number of issues, and as such, persons will have to fork out more money to buy the same product, and sometimes more money and getting less. So you're going to have issue as it relates to maybe malnutrition, or a person can't eat what they are to eat because of this constant increase in price. Again, we're going to have some effect of unemployment, because the places where some person normally work are either bombed or no work can take place. In the case of petrol, say the refinery may be locked down by the country that has been invaded. So we are going to have starvation, poverty will increase, and one of the worst ones, we're going to have crime, violent crime taking over. All of these are ripple effects. So you're going to have migration from the country that is weaker. Or then you'll have a whole lot of refugee camps being set up in neighboring countries. Right? And then resource will be limited, because these persons will have to be fed, will have to be taken care of. So again, a number of things will happen. So the poor is going to get poorer, and the rich is going to get richer. And some of the time, the richer countries will benefit, because they are more powerful with all sort of armory, ground armory, air and sea. And then they have the financial resource to back them. So most of the time, the countries that are least developed will suffer, are the countries that have a whole lot of persons that are living below the minimum or the poverty line. So we may have starvation and we have malnutrition, many persons dying. But for what? For one country to gain a whole lot at the expense of many countries. So even though war or invasion may take place between two countries or with two countries involved, many other countries will benefit negatively. Nearly every country in the world uses petrol or oil. So when these things happen, the cost of oil will increase. And I remember the cost or a barrel of bunker C becomes so expensive. It was said it was the highest in more than 14 years. So if we continue to invade our weaker neighbors, then we may only get richer. And at the end of the day, humanity will be degraded. Again, it is Malachi's perspective. Drop a comment or so. Let us know what you think about the video. Continue to watch. Very important content are being shared.